you have that very inspiring and uplifting testimony, just feel free to inbox us on our Facebook page, which is NTVGXP, or send us an SMS on 6565. And we'll be glad to have you on the show. It's always an honor to have you on the show. Well, many people choose to be a blessing to God's people in different ways. And there's this particular person who chose to be a blessing to God's people through serving in the church as an usher. He is very talented in that, and he's very content with that. Enjoy our profile for the day.
My name is ENOS SANDE UWEZI. I'm 26 years old, and I live in Bunga, in Konge to be exact, which is along Gaba Road. Professionally, I'm a senior data manager at Crane Survey. It's a project that is under the Ministry of Health and School of Public Health at Makerere. But besides that, I'm also a volunteer at Watoto Church. That's at Central, one of the celebration points downtown Kampala. I'm an usher there. I'm also a facilitator in discipleship class. But also in the community where I live, we have what we call cell groups. Towards the end of 2011, an announcement came in the cell agenda, and it was saying that Watoto Church is starting a discipleship class, and those who are interested in being a part of the class, you're welcome to come and join this Thursday. It was starting the following day. Cell was like Wednesday. I decided I wanted to go and be a part of it so I can grow in my relationship with Christ. When I joined that class, it's like everything changed in my life, because what that class did for me is that it explained to me all the questions that I had, why I still had those desires that I had in my life, why I still, even though I was born again, I still felt the way that I did. And it helped me to grow and get rooted in my relationship with Christ and who He is, knowing who He is and what He has purposed and planned for my life, even before I was born. So at the end of that class, I knew I had to be a part of what God was doing in Watoto Church. So I signed up to be an usher. When I signed up to be an usher, the first day that I ushered in church, I knew I was meant to do this. I mean, it's like as if at the end of the 5 services, at the end of the day, I wanted another service. It was exciting. It was beautiful to serve God, beautiful to be in His presence, beautiful. It's like as if I had never enjoyed something in my life like I did this. And having to pray for somebody who is giving their life to Christ at the end of when they make the altar call was an honor for me, because somebody had done that for me a few months ago, and now I was able to do it for somebody else. It occurred to me, I began to realize that when you are in God's presence and you're serving in His house, it builds your relationship with Him. It builds the way you talk to Him, the way you relate with Him, and even how you understand Him. So my relationship with God began to grow very, very much. That's while I was ushering, I began to minister to people and to share the love of Jesus as well with them, and tell them what God has done for me. And this was really exciting for me. It was so exciting that I decided I was also going to facilitate in discipleship class, because that's where I had learned. I wanted to replicate whatever they had done for me and do it the same thing for somebody else. Because I had discovered one of my gifts as teaching, so I started to teach in the class. It was amazing. My first group, I was a bit nervous that I was facilitating, but it's amazing how God helps you when you choose to serve Him and do His work. God is able to allow you to walk with you and to help you to do some of it. It's a great responsibility that God decides to use you. If you're not careful, you can get puffed up and think that you are the only one. And it comes with a lot of challenges, with great responsibility. Being a leader and being able to teach God's people, being able to influence God's people, comes with great responsibility. What it does for me is I have to continuously, on a daily basis, humble myself. And one thing that I always tell myself is, yet not I, but the grace of God. Yet not I, but the grace of God. whenever I realize that everything that I have been able to do is not because I am anything, but because He is everything, and He has decided to allow me to use, to work through me, and I'm only just a vessel and an avenue. So what I do is I'm availing myself, and He is directing me in the direction that He wants. One of my desires, one of the passions that I have in my heart is to see church united, all the different churches united and not against each other, not competing with one another. And two, one thing that I'd like is to see healthcare change completely, especially in this nation. So that's one of the reasons why I joined this other organization, which is working in terms of on health, HIV surveillance. But more importantly is to see the body of Christ unite as one and see God's kingdom